It's one. It's one. A lot more to come. Shout out our fans. Absolutely incredible. Thank you guys for showing up, showing love to all my teammates. We appreciate you. More to come.
The Chicago Sky just got a harsh reminder. Don't keep Caitlin Clark off the court for 7 months. After her longest stretch away from competitive basketball, Clark delivered a record-breaking triple-double never before seen in a WNBA season opener, powering the Fever to a dominant 35-point win.
They're gonna make this rivalry come back, this manufactured rivalry, which, by the way, you guys, the Indiana Fever beat the Sky by nearly 40 points. They won 93-58.
The Sky's issue was clear. They had no response to Clark's brilliance, Boston's control in the paint, or the Fever's relentless defense that limited the Sky to a dreadful 29% shooting. Angel Reese may have pulled down 17 rebounds, but both she and her squad delivered a complete flop from beginning to end. The Fever didn't just win, they made a statement as rising contenders. We'll break down how Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever humbled Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky on opening night.
The regular season is here, and we have no more time for flirting, folks. We have no more time. It's time to get serious about our business. And Caitlin Clark handled her business game 1. 20, 10, and 10. 20, 10, and 10. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, what do the kids say? Belt to ass. Oh yeah. La cucaracha, la cucaracha. Indiana Fever destroy, obliterate, run out of the gym the Chicago Sky. 93-58.
7 months? That's how long Caitlin Clark had to wait. 7 months since she last played a professional basketball game. 7 months of listening to doubters wonder if she could level up after a stellar rookie campaign. 7 months of Angel Reese talking nonstop to anyone willing to hear her.
It feels like it's gone by fast, yeah. Which I didn't know going into the offseason of how exactly it would feel. I feel like just yesterday it was January and I was itching for like this first game. I was like thinking about this moment, and I mean, you think it will take a long time to get there, but it doesn't. If you just, stay consistent in what you do and follow your routines and, you stay busy, it comes pretty fast. But yeah, it didn't feel slow. I feel like this moment has raced up on us.
Imagine the pressure on someone who's played basketball their whole life. The offseason stretched endlessly as doubts piled up around Clark's game. Could she handle the physical play? Would she reduce her turnovers? And above all, could she turn the Fever into real contenders?
I'm excited to play, excited to get out there and play. I think it's different when it's the first one of the season. Like, you just are really amped up to get out there. A little anxiousness, but nothing I haven't experienced before. I think more than anything, just excited. I think once you eventually get in the building and you get here and you get in your routine of preparing for the game, you're pretty locked in. And honestly, I'm ready to go play right now. Forget warm-ups.
The preseason only made the pressure worse. Clark gave glimpses of her talent, but also faced leg problems that kept her out at times. Critics were watching closely, ready to attack if she stumbled in her season opener. And who was lined up for that first game? Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky. But let's be honest, only Reese and the media act like this is a rivalry. Clark has no rival.
Rivalry is great for sport. Like, I understand that. I grew up loving rivalries. Like, I grew up in Iowa State. That's like a pro matchup in the state of Iowa. Like, I understand that. Or whether it was my high school team, like, I still hate our rival high school, Valley High School. Sorry, I'm sure there's a lot of people from Valley High School that love me and support me now. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you guys, but I wasn't your biggest fan. I didn't like the Tigers growing up. So my parents, my grandfather was the football coach growing up, and Valley was our biggest rival. It was the biggest class in Iowa. And I was taught to, growing up, if we were driving by the high school, to hold my breath because I couldn't breathe that air.
From the first minutes, it was clear something had changed in Clark. The hesitation from her rookie year was gone. No more second-guessing or overanalyzing. She played with a freedom that echoed her Iowa days, like she was back in college, running the show. Her first three-pointer dropped smooth through the net, sharp, confident, effortless. Then came the no-look passes that stunned defenders, the rebounds ripped from taller opponents, the defensive plays no one thought she'd make. This wasn't just Caitlin Clark performing. This was Caitlin Clark making a statement. By halftime, the Fever were up by 19 points. Clark was already on the verge of making history. 7 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists in just one half. What began as a hyped-up showdown had become a performance that silenced every doubt about Clark's impact at the pro level. The second half wasn't about the outcome. The Fever had that locked. It became about the record books. Could Clark keep up her all-around brilliance? The answer came in the fourth, when she grabbed her 10th rebound, sealing a triple-double with 20 points and 10 assists already secured. No one in WNBA history had ever logged a triple-double in a season opener. Not Diana Taurasi, not Candace Parker, not Sue Bird. Caitlin Clark pulled off what none of them had, and she did it in the very first game of her second year. As Clark ran the offense with sharp passes and clutch buckets, the message couldn't be clearer. The 7-month layoff didn't slow her down. It fueled her fire. She wasn't just back, she was better. And for Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky, that meant total collapse.
More than anything, like as a player, you approach the game the same every single time, or you should. That's how you should approach every single game. You prepare the same way, you come ready to play, whether it's the team that's last in the league or the team that's first in the league, it doesn't matter. I think for the fans, it's great, they love it, and I mean, Chicago is the closest team to us. You know, we bus there usually, so I get it geographically. But I think for our team and our group, it's, you know, we prepare the same way every single game. But I expect today to be an awesome game.
Here's where everyone missed the mark. While most expected Caitlin Clark to rack up points, no one predicted the Fever would become a defensive force overnight. Chicago's players came in thinking they were geared up for a shootout. Instead, they found themselves trapped in a nightmare.
All right, y'all. Hey, good stuff. Okay, we did a lot of really good things. I thought our defense was really good, and when we had lapses, we played through possessions. All right, so we made things happen. Y'all, overall, just hell of an effort.
From the very first possession, the Fever unleashed a defensive onslaught that felt like they had 6 players on the floor. They smothered every shot, suffocated passing lanes, and collapsed on every drive with ruthless efficiency. It wasn't just defense, it was chaos, precision, and intensity rolled into one relentless force. The Sky were left gasping. Every move they made met with hands in their faces and bodies blocking their path. Chicago's offense didn't just stall, it imploded. With no room to breathe, their rhythm disappeared and their game plan unraveled. They looked disoriented, hesitant, and outmatched, as if they'd stumbled into a storm they never saw coming. The Fever didn't just play defense, they made a statement, and the Sky had no answer.
We have more eyeballs on the game, and Caitlin Clark brings that. Why would we feel some kind of way?
WNBA icon Lisa Leslie recently shared her thoughts with unexpected candor regarding the Caitlin Clark TV controversy. When questioned about the Indiana Fever's overwhelming presence on national television, with an astonishing 41 out of 44 games broadcasted, Leslie's response turned heads and sparked widespread discussion.
Did an interview with USA Today, and I wanted to jump on really quickly and share that in case you missed it, and also share my perspective, because it's so noteworthy how Lisa Leslie responds to the news that the Indiana Fever.
Her insightful viewpoint completely turns the conversation around. shedding light on why some of the most influential figures in women's basketball see the situation in a radically different light than many of today's critics. The statistics are undeniable. The Indiana Fever are set to appear on national television for 41 of their 44 regular season games, marking an extraordinary level of exposure for any WNBA team. This announcement has ignited intense debates online, with some accusing favoritism, while others applaud the added visibility for the league.
Caitlin Clark making waves without winning a championship, despite getting very close. If UConn doesn't take it this year, it feels like, Paige is going to be in that same boat. So I'm curious if you think winning an NCAA championship is needed for that eventual GOAT conversation, greatest of all time.
When USA Today recently asked four-time Olympic gold medalist and WNBA legend Lisa Leslie about the controversy, her response surprised many. Instead of jumping on the bandwagon of criticism or expressing any frustration, she offered a masterclass in perspective. Her answer perfectly illustrated why the legends of women's basketball see the situation in a way that differs greatly from some of today's critics.
Marketing, and we cannot deny what Caitlin Clark has done for the women's game. I'm not going to act like it's something that we don't see. She's had a huge effect, called the Caitlin Clark effect. Yes, have we ever had teams have to get into larger arenas to play against a team? No, we have not. So if we have more eyeballs on the game and Caitlin Clark brings that, why would we feel some kind of way because she has more television games? I think we have to understand that when one player eats, we all eat. And as we all get more opportunities, it just opens it up for everyone else. And I think Caitlin has said that even herself in certain interviews. And I love that. I love that she's not the player who's like, it's all about her. It's not. She's giving love and homage to those of us that have come before her. She shares the wealth with her teammates, and she doesn't have to do that. So I just don't, again, I don't know what the big deal is about the fact that Caitlin is getting a lot of love. She deserves that, and she's helped change this game just as a lot of other players have. But it is what it is, and I think that we are all benefiting.
I believe it's all about money, marketing, and we can't ignore what Caitlin Clark has done for the women's game, Leslie said with conviction. I'm not going to pretend it's something we don't see. Her direct and honest statement cuts through the chatter that has surrounded WNBA discussions since Clark's rise to prominence.
National Player of the Year, I won all of the individual awards, but sometimes, it's very hard to win a national championship, regardless of how much people talk about it, like, oh, you have to have it. It is one of the hardest things to do in a tournament where you have so many games and you're trying to get there. So yes, shout out to all of the players who were able to win national championships, but it doesn't make a player who didn't win a national championship any less of an amazing individual player and the possibility to be in the talks of being.
Leslie, who lived through the early struggles of the WNBA as one of its founding superstars, understands something that seems to elude many current observers. This level of attention is unprecedented and should be embraced. Have we ever had teams having to play in larger arenas to accommodate a crowd? No, we have not, Leslie pointed out, referring to the numerous venue changes across the league to meet the demand for seats at Fever games. This simple remark speaks volumes. Leslie isn't viewing Caitlin Clark's impact through a lens of jealousy or insecurity. She's placing it within a historical context, something she's uniquely qualified to do as someone who witnessed the league's formative years. What makes Leslie's perspective particularly valuable is that she brings the experience of having to build the league with far less support and recognition. During Leslie's early years in the WNBA, players fought just to get basic media coverage. They played in smaller arenas with limited broadcast opportunities, laying the foundation for today's increased visibility through sheer talent and perseverance. Given this history, one might expect Leslie to feel frustration over the attention Clark is receiving so early in her career. But instead, Leslie offers a level of wisdom that highlights why the pioneers of women's basketball often have a different viewpoint from some of today's critics. When one player eats, we all eat, Leslie explained. As we all get more opportunities, it opens doors for everyone else. This philosophy underscores the fundamental divide in how people view Clark's rise. While some see the attention as a zero-sum game, where Clark's visibility means less spotlight for others, Leslie sees the expansive potential. More exposure leads to more viewers, which means more revenue, and more revenue leads to better contracts and improved conditions for all players. Leslie also praised Clark's approach to the spotlight. "I love that she's not the player who's like, it's all about her," Leslie said. This speaks to an often overlooked aspect of Clark's character, her consistent efforts to redirect attention to her teammates and to the larger women's game. Despite the media frenzy surrounding her, Clark has repeatedly emphasized that she's just one player in a league full of incredible talent. "I don't understand what the big deal is about Caitlin getting so much love," Leslie continued. "She deserves it, and she's helped change the game, just like a lot of other players have." Leslie's statement highlights a crucial difference in perspective. She doesn't see recognition as something that should be evenly distributed regardless of impact. Instead, she acknowledges the reality that different players contribute differently to the game's growth, and the attention they receive often reflects this. What stands out in Leslie's comments is how they contrast with the narrative pushed by some media outlets. Rather than framing Clark's popularity as divisive or unfair, Leslie sees it as something positive for everyone involved. "We are all benefiting from the effects that she's had on the game," Leslie said. "I just appreciate the way she shows up." Leslie went on to highlight Clark's qualities that deserve recognition. She's a fierce competitor, a trash talker, a player who elevates her teammates, and an exciting talent to watch. These observations come from a deep understanding of the game, not just marketing hype. As a Hall of Famer who's experienced basketball at its highest level, Leslie evaluates Clark based on her skills and impact, not just her media presence. Leslie's appreciation extends beyond Clark to the entire WNBA. "I miss seeing A'ja Wilson out there. She's still one of the best players in the world," Leslie remarked, also praising Breanna Stewart as one of the league's top talents. By mentioning these established stars, Leslie shows that recognizing Clark's impact doesn't diminish other players. It's entirely possible and necessary to celebrate multiple forms of excellence simultaneously. Leslie then addressed the core issue directly, the disparity in televised games between the Fever and other teams. "Are we going to get upset about 5, 6, 10 games less on TV or not?" she said. "I don't think we should. We have access to find these games now in a way we've never had before, and we need to appreciate that." This perspective reflects a generational difference in how WNBA visibility is perceived. For pioneers like Leslie, who played at a time when women's basketball on TV was almost impossible to find, the current multi-platform availability represents an incredible leap forward. A few games difference in national TV coverage is a small issue compared to the overall growth of the league. "I'm so thankful for her," Leslie said of Clark. "I'm thankful for all of these women and where the game is now. We have to step back and see the bigger picture and how it's impacting all of us." This call to focus on the bigger picture encapsulates the wisdom Leslie brings to the conversation. As someone who helped build the WNBA from the ground up, she understands that the league's growth hasn't been linear or equal at all times. Different eras have had different catalysts, stars, and opportunities.
Also, Complex has put out their 10 most influential women in sports. And Angel Reese is not going to like this because, well, she got beaten by Caitlin Clark for number 1.
Caitlin Clark did it again. As if shattering records on the court wasn't enough, she just scored another huge victory without even having to tie up her sneakers. Complex just crowned her the most influential female athlete, solidifying her place as the biggest name in sports at the moment. And the best part? She edged out Angel Reese, who, predictably, isn't taking it too well.
So, it's been hard for me, but adjusting and just kind of have that mindset of just moving on has been something I try to give myself a little bit of grace.
That's right. While Clark is out here racking up awards, growing the game, and making history, Reese is busy scrambling for excuses, pretending like this honor doesn't matter. But let's be honest, if Reese had won, we'd never hear the end of it. Instead of celebrating someone else's success, she's doing what she does best, downplaying Clark's accomplishments while spending more time on TikTok than in the gym.
Announcing the top 10 most influential athletes right now. These athletes are reshaping culture. Caitlin Clark, check. Breaking records. Caitlin Clark, check. proving their impact goes far beyond the game, from sold-out arenas to game-changing moves in business and fashion. These women are leading the way. If this is a top 10 list, then sitting on the top of that list, there's only one right answer. There's only one correct choice.
Let's set the record straight. This isn't just about an award. It's about who the fans are really backing. One player has everyone tuning in for her mind-blowing talent, and the other, well, she's famous for making headlines for everything but basketball. Some see this as a rivalry, but let's be real. It's not much of a competition when one player is actually winning.
What is your stance on that?
So my whole thing was like, when I got drafted, number 7. So I'm like, cool. Like, the pressure is not even on me because I'm drafted 7, so the pressure shouldn't be up there. So I'm like, all right, cool. I can just hoop. So I'm like, all right, cool.
It's because you started killing it.
Well, yeah.
And they're like, oh,
I'm still a rookie. I'm still figuring it out. Trying to figure things out.
All right, let's break it all down. Why did Clark take home this award? What makes her influence so undeniable? And most importantly, why is Angel Reese acting like she got robbed? We're about to dive into the numbers, the impact, and the hilarious aftermath.
And Angel Reese is not going to like this because, well, she got beaten by Caitlin Clark for number 1. Yeah, so we're going to take a look at that. I think it's hilarious. I will tell you right off the bat, I don't believe there's a singular world, where Angel Reese should be ahead of Simone Biles either. There, I put that out loud.
Caitlin Clark didn't just break records, she obliterated them. 62 records shattered in a single season. Let that sink in. This isn't just about making history, it's about rewriting the entire record book. No player in WNBA history has ever dominated like this, and we're only in year 1.
My expectation is to be one of the best players in the world one day. I wouldn't expect anything less than that.
More history for the Fever rookie.
At this point, continue to be myself, and I think a lot of good will come from that.
But here's where it gets even crazier. Clark didn't just put up insane numbers, she actually changed the trajectory of an entire franchise. Before she showed up, the Indiana Fever were stuck at the bottom of the league, barely staying relevant. Then Caitlin Clark walked in, and boom, they made the playoffs for the first time in nearly a decade. That's not just individual greatness, that's team-changing dominance.
The woman who's been putting women's basketball on her back for the better part of 3 years now. These athletes are reshaping culture. Caitlin Clark has men watching women's basketball.
Let's talk off-court impact, because this is where Clark leaves the so-called rivals in the dust. WNBA merch sales shot up 500% in her rookie season. Yes, 500%. Jerseys, t-shirts, memorabilia, everything was flying off the shelves. Meanwhile, Reese's jerseys, just sitting there collecting dust, while Clark's sold out in minutes.
This is a phenomenon. Caitlin Clark is a phenomenon.
This isn't just about jersey sales. Clark's influence is shaking up the whole league's economy. Viewership is through the roof. Arenas that once struggled to fill seats are now packed, but only when Clark's in town. Teams that used to beg for fans are now scrambling to expand seating to keep up with the demand.
So that's what they got on her. Caitlin Clark, she ran away with number 1. I don't think that should surprise us. She came away with number 1. Caitlin Clark is redefining the entire landscape of women's sports. That's right. Her dominance on the court has shattered outdated narratives about women's sports, proving that women's basketball can be just as marketable and widely watched as men's. But the Caitlin Clark effect goes far beyond her performance. It's reshaping the entire sports landscape. Clark's impact is undeniable. Her presence alone boosts the WNBA attendance by 105%.
Even sports economists are stunned by Clark's impact. Thayer Lavielle, a top name in sports business, called her a lightning rod for women's basketball, comparing her to Michael Jordan for how she's boosting the game's visibility and value. And honestly, she's spot on.
Because when we went to the WNBA games and we went to go watch Caitlin Clark when they came to play the Washington Mystics in DC, and they shut that they had to move the game from the Washington Mystics WNBA arena to the actual Washington arena where the Wizards played, and it was packed. It was sold out for people to see Caitlin Clark. That did not happen the day before that when they went to Chicago to play Angel Reese.
Let's talk real numbers. Clark's rookie season alone raked in a jaw-dropping $36 million for Indianapolis. Just one player did that, and it's only the start. Experts predict her rise will boost women's basketball's value by $1.6 billion over the next 3 years. Yes, billion with a B.
I'm going to look at this the way I did with Michael Jordan. Now, she's not the Michael Jordan of her sport as far as athleticism, playing, dominating. But A'ja Wilson is the best player in the game. Not even a debate. But I'm talking about value now. Value to a franchise, value to a league, getting your team in the playoffs. They had the number 1 pick. They were the worst team last year. And there is value that I can attach to that.
So what does all this mean? Caitlin Clark isn't just a superstar. She's a movement. She's doing more than dominating on the court. She's reshaping the entire league's future, bringing in new fans, generating massive revenue, and making women's basketball must-watch TV.
I'm talking about value. Michael Jordan was the most valuable player every single year because of what he meant to his team and what he meant to the league. And, oh, by the way, winning 6 titles. Can't argue with that. Caitlin Clark may not win titles. Las Vegas is still a great team. But the fact that she's doing what she's doing and at a very high level, you know, it's now commonplace where she'll go for 26 and 12. I mean, those are great numbers for any player, no matter how long you've been in the league.
Meanwhile, Angel Reese is still sitting there trying to figure out why she wasn't named most influential. Maybe if she spent more time working on her game and less time complaining on social media, she'd get that this is about sports.
This is about sports. This is about athletic ability. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at Caitlin Clark's game, who's very reminiscent of a Steph Curry based on her range and shooting the 3, plus everything else she does. And then you look at Angel Reese, stop it. Stop it. There's a dude on the internet who cracks me up on TikTok. He's put together a shitload of Angel Reese clips, and it'll say Angel Reese part 36. And it goes, Angel Reese going up for another layup. She misses, bang! And I mean, dude, it's the funniest shit. And my whole thing is this, dude. She just seems as uncoordinated as a baby giraffe.
Caitlin Clark's journey to these awards might seem like a done deal, but the real story is way bigger. Remember Angel Reese? She was hyped as Clark's biggest competition, with the media pushing this so-called rivalry. It was framed as the ultimate showdown, a season-long battle that had fans hooked. But let's be real, was it ever really close?
Saying Angel Reese is better than Caitlin Clark is saying Rodman was better than Michael Jordan, or Ben Wallace was better than Kobe, or even Andre Drummond was better than LeBron. And I shouldn't have to point out that Angel Reese is actually a poor defender.
From the jump, the media pushed the narrative of 2 rookies battling for WNBA supremacy. But as the season went on, the gap became painfully clear. This wasn't a duel of equals. It was one player dominating the league, while the other spent more time in the headlines than in the box scores.
Oh, Reese! 3-on-3, part 13, let's get it!
Classic long 2.
Bang!
PSA, no rims or backboards were harmed during the filming of this video. But viewers are encouraged to look away.
Bang!
What?
Bang!
I heard her say that she might sit out if the WNBA doesn't pay her what she deserves. I say $1 million for every missed layup is fair.
Bang!
They are stat petting queen properly. Fair wages for all. I repeat, fair wages. Remember, they're coming to see her.
Long 2, butter pecan, bang!
Then came Rookie of the Year and First Team All-WNBA, and that's when it all came to light. Clark didn't just win, she ran away with it. The so-called competition wasn't even close. As for Reese, she wasn't exactly graceful in defeat. Instead of congratulating Clark, she hit social media to claim Clark didn't deserve the honor. Imagine losing a race by a mile and then demanding a recount.
But her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlin Clark. Because she wins the national title, first thing she does, she mocks Caitlin Clark. And then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates. So she's made it personal with Caitlin Clark. then she's played off of that.
But here's the real kicker. Clark's success isn't about trophies or petty rivalries. She's not out here chasing awards. She's revolutionizing the WNBA. Her impact goes far beyond basketball. She's expanding the game, shattering attendance records, and bringing in millions of new fans. Meanwhile, Reese is stuck trying to convince everyone she belongs in the same conversation as Clark. The difference? Clark is changing the game. Reese is just trying to catch up.
Nafisi Collier absolutely hooked Angel Reese's ass last night. 8 of 13, 61.5%, 26 points in 25 minutes and 53 seconds. She scored 26 in 26 minutes.
What happens when a player focused on individual stats goes up against a team that's all about winning? On May 10th, we got a clear answer as Nafisa Collier and the Minnesota Lynx methodically broke down Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky's game plan, limiting Reese to just 3 rebounds and 10 points over 25 minutes of action.
Angel Reese, preseason, part 2, let's get it! What they say about layups, harder than nuclear physics. Bang! She's a point forward now, and nobody's more excited than opposing defenses. Time for the vintage underhand scoopity shot from 3 feet. Yep, there it is. Bang!
This wasn't just another preseason game. It was a glimpse of what happens when the focus moves from social media hype to real on-court performance. Did the Lynx just expose Reese's double-double streak as smoke and mirrors? What does her new coach really think about her place on the team? Stay with us as we break down the game footage, how Collier dominated Reese, the surprising aftermath, and whether fans are tuning in for the basketball or just for Reese.
I think Angel Reese fans are going to be happy because she's playing away from the rim, a long way away from the rim, and those rebound numbers and those double-doubles are about to take a back seat. So guess what? Padding the stats is not going to work out.
Before the May 10th matchup, Angel Reese seemed confident, sharing posts about being ready to dominate and claiming she's not used to losing. But when it came time to face Nafisa Collier and the Minnesota Lynx, reality came crashing down. The so-called rebounding machine finished with just 3 rebounds in 25 minutes. That's right. Only 3 boards from a player whose entire reputation is built on cleaning up her own misses.
I don't want to give away the farm, but Angel was 2 of 8 from the field. 2 of 8 from the field. 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 10 points.
The game footage makes it clear how thoroughly Collier shut down Reese's game. From the opening tip, Collier took control, using her body to establish position and box Reese out effectively. Unlike in college, where Reese could often rely on reaching over defenders, she now faced an opponent who mastered positioning and timing. In one second quarter sequence, Reese made 3 separate attempts to gain deep post position, and each time, Collier denied the entry pass, pushing her farther from the hoop. When Reese finally did get the ball, Collier's sharp defensive footwork forced her into an off-balance shot that missed badly. No rebound, no second chance points.
The McDonald's sponsoring the first ever fry cook in the WNBA. Bag work is off the dollar menu, man. What is this junk? Bang! Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, and most importantly, Mother Teresa, Mother Nature, and Mother 2. I'm watching because of me too. Bang! Did you know a croissant's most important ingredient is butter? Yes, butter, butter, butter pecan.
Reese's shooting numbers told the same story. She went just 2 for 8 from the field, missing her only 3-point attempt. Most of her points came at the free throw line, where she made 6 of 8. Without her trademark putbacks and second chance buckets, Reese's offensive impact looked surprisingly average.
Look at these stats. This was some first quarter action. 5 points, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 for 4 from the field. Missed drive layup, missed 6 foot, leading taken 2, missed drive, lead taking layup. It's going to be another one of those years, folks.
Credit also goes to the Lynx's team defense. Whenever Reese managed to touch the ball, help defenders quickly collapsed, pressuring her into tough shots or rushed passes. The second quarter was especially rough for the Sky. They shot just 25% from the field, making only 4 baskets. Meanwhile, the Lynx capitalized on both ends, putting up 23 points and heading into halftime with a 48-42 lead.
Collier, I mean, my God, 26-5. Absolutely crazy. Okay, the lack of practice or fatigue from her social life is showing itself with Angel Reese. She's doing a lot of watching and slow on defense. Also not communicating. She literally stood there and watched Fee backdoor to the rim for a layup from a pass.
Reese's first half painted a clear picture. She took just 3 shots and missed all of them, with her only points coming from free throws. This wasn't just a cold night. It was a complete shutdown by a smarter, more experienced defensive opponent and team. While Reese struggled to find her footing, Collier was dominant on both ends. She racked up 26 points on an efficient 8 of 13 shooting in just under 26 minutes. With 5 rebounds, a steal, and a block added to her stat line, there was no doubt who the superior player was. Collier looked every bit the MVP candidate, while Reese seemed like a rookie still adjusting to the pro level.
Caitlin Clark has 0 free throw attempts. Did the refs swallow the whistle? Well, Angel's got 30. Who has the special whistle again? Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. I remember Angel Reese talking about they must have a special whistle out there. Yeah, this person says, my brain genuinely hurts watching Angel Reese fans interact.
One fan on social media claimed the Lynx had cracked the code on stopping Angel Reese, and the evidence backs it up. By neutralizing her rebounding edge, Collier highlighted the gaps in Reese's overall skill set. Without second-chance points and putbacks, Reese's offensive presence faded almost completely.
If I'm being honest, is Angel headed towards a 12-point, 6-rebound, 4-assist kind of season? In other words, being a character actor and not the superstar of this team?
To Reese's credit, she did flash some playmaking ability with 5 assists, indicating an effort to broaden her game beyond the typical power forward role. However, when your main strengths are shut down this decisively, it raises legitimate concerns about your overall effectiveness at the pro level.
And look, Angel had a real nice assist last night.
For efficiency.
I'm not going to lie. Here we go right here down the court. Looks like maybe
pushes the pace up for Chicago.
Down to Reese.
Top of the
Look
key,
at
it's
this
Reese. Bounce pass,
right in there for a layup.
Rachel Banham with the cut off the nice pass from Reese.
That was nice. It was nice, no doubt.
This wasn't just a rough outing. It was a blueprint for stopping Angel Reese. Collier showed that smart positioning, high basketball IQ, and disciplined team defense are enough to erase Reese's physical edge. And now that her on-court dominance is being questioned, it's fair to take a closer look at some of her bold off-court claims as well. She says people watch women's basketball because of her. But if that's the case, where are the fans at her games?
Yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
That's what Angel Reese declared to reporters after being drafted by the Chicago Sky. Words that didn't just echo through the press room, but reverberated across the basketball world. Confident, unapologetic, bold. For a rookie, calling yourself the reason people tune in to watch women's basketball isn't just a statement, it's a challenge to the status quo. But here's the real question. Is it just talk, or is there truth behind the claim? Are fans really showing up because of Angel Reese? Do the viewership stats and social buzz prove she's not just a player, but a movement?
What A'ja Wilson just did was unprecedented. I mean, on so many levels. she's arguably, allegedly, the reason Caitlin Clark was assaulted the entire 2024 basketball season in the W. I mean, what A'ja Wilson just did is really like, there's no coming back from this.
A'ja Wilson's squeaky clean, positive vibes only persona just took a massive hit. And honestly, it's about time people started noticing the double standard. For months, she played the role of the calm, collected veteran while her fans were waging war on Caitlin Clark over the Nike signature shoe deal. But now, the truth is out. During the reveal of her highly anticipated shoes, A'ja casually dropped a bombshell. She'd had a Nike signature deal in the works for 2 years. 2 entire years, all while her fans were out there demanding justice, accusing Nike of blatant disrespect, and painting Caitlin as the undeserving rookie golden child. A'ja's deal was already locked in, and yet she kept quiet. She said nothing while her supporters created chaos.
Wilson was oddly silent, but complicit. All right, why was she complicit? Because, well, she knew she was getting a signature shoe for 2 years, and she let Caitlin Clark take all that hate.
Let's take a quick trip down memory lane. Social media nearly exploded when Nike announced that Caitlin Clark would be getting a signature shoe. The big question on everyone's mind was, how could they give her one before A'ja? That became the rallying cry. And where was A'ja in all of this? Silent, calm, strategic. She threw out a few cryptic tweets about respect, kept her followers guessing, and allowed the chaos to build. She knew exactly what people were saying. She saw the narrative unfolding, and she did nothing to stop it. Remember when she said this?
A'ja Wilson is her name. Quote, "It doesn't matter what we all do as black women, we're still going to be swept underneath the rug. That's why it boils my blood when people say it's not about race, because it is."
Let's be real. If the roles were reversed, and Caitlin had a shoe deal in the works for 2 years, but allowed the world to drag A'ja through the mud without stepping in to correct the record, she would be absolutely crucified. Articles would be written non-stop, and the talking heads would have a field day. But when A'ja does it, suddenly it's all smiles and, oh, she's just so humble. No, that's not humility. It's manipulation. A'ja allowed Caitlin to take all the heat, using it to fuel a sympathy campaign built on a lie.
Do you have any ideas what you would want your future sneaker to look like?
I think the biggest thing for me is just I would love a low top shoe. I play in a low top shoe, so that's something that I would love to have carry over. And something that looks good. That's so key to me.
The truth is, A'ja Wilson could have ended this entire drama with just one tweet. Something as simple as, "My time is coming. Don't worry about me." That's all it would have taken. The mob would have calmed down, and the attacks would have faded away. But she didn't say anything, because staying silent worked in her favor. She allowed her fan base, and let's be honest, a significant portion of the WNBA media, to paint Caitlin Clark as the villain, the rookie stealing all the credit, while she played the part of the overlooked underdog. It was all a performance.
A'ja Wilson. Who? Why? Yeah, she's some WNBA player. Who? No, she's one of the all-time greatest players ever. Why?
And now that the shoe has finally dropped, literally, all those "how dare Nike." Warriors are scrambling to rewrite history. But here's the twist. The disrespect never came from Nike. It came from A'ja and the people around her who allowed the false narrative to spiral out of control. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, who's done nothing but elevate the league and attract millions of new fans, has had to take hits from all sides. On the court, on social media, from players, and even from legends. And through it all, she's kept her head down, letting her game do all the talking.
And these WNBA fans that did not want to see Caitlin Clark come in and do what she did, which was dominate the league. Led the league in assists as a rookie. After the season, I think I counted she broke something in the neighborhood of 63 records last year. Either rookie records or just flat records by anybody, not even a rookie. And all these fans have been mad. And all the while, A'ja Wilson sat back and was just plenty happy to play the victim. She could have come out and made some kind of a statement that would have called off the dogs.
Meanwhile, Asia Wilson, who could have easily set the record straight at any point, chose silence, and that silence spoke louder than anything. It sent a clear message to her fan base. Go ahead, it said, let them believe I've been slighted. It said, let Caitlyn take the heat. And that's what makes this whole saga so frustrating, because it's not just about shoes. It's about the way Caitlyn Clark has been treated from the very start.
And so for Nike to put her in the position where she then has to go on social media and kind of cool her fans and like urge them to be patient and almost like defend Nike, it's such a disappointment, but it's not a surprise because Nike has done it before.
Instead of being embraced as the generational talent she is, Caitlyn Clark faced jealousy and resistance. Not because she did anything wrong, but because she made the league too visible, too quickly. Her impact was undeniable, and instead of celebrating it, people tried to tear her down. Asia Wilson could have been the bridge, the leader, the example, but she chose vibes over values.
How could they give Caitlyn a shoe before they give Asia one? Oh, how could they do this? How could they treat Asia like this? Two-time MVP at the time, this before she even won the damn third one. They is wrong for doing this. You want to know?
And let's not act like the timing of that Super Bowl ad was just a coincidence. Nike ran a huge campaign celebrating female athletes and somehow forgot to include the most influential woman in basketball right now, Caitlyn Clark. Clark, whose jersey sales shattered records. Clark, whose games led the league in viewership. Clark, who brought in fans who had never even cared about the WNBA before, but she was nowhere to be seen. Almost as if someone didn't want her in the spotlight, at least not for a little bit longer.
You want to know what I'm selling? I'm selling greatness! Asia Wilson, 3-time MVP. We got Jordan Childs, we got Juju Watkins, we got Sha'Carri Richardson, and we got Arena Sabalenka.
Champion.
Hustling is not easy, but I love it. Sabrina! I know you want a T. Thinking about it? You're thinking about it. They're gonna go fast, kind of like Sha'Carri. I accept card. Where's the card? Come on.
Oh wait, but what's in that box?
These don't come out till March. They may or may not be shirts, but if I tell you, I'm gonna have to kill you. Oh, you want one of these? Nike.com. Who wants a t-shirt?
Nike really thought they could pull one over on us with that last-minute voiceover trick, as if we wouldn't notice. But fans are too sharp for that. We all saw it. It wasn't some editing accident, it was intentional. That awkward voiceover was essentially Nike saying, we love the revenue she brings in, but let's keep her out of the spotlight. Subtle? Not even close.
My favorite thing of all. So let's take a listen to this. Nike actually put this one out after the fact.
You want to know what I'm selling? Rookie of the Year, Caitlyn Clark. I know you want a T.
Okay.
Nike.com.
They re-recorded it. Like, that's not even, I mean that. That's like, listen to it.
And how does that make any sense? We're talking about Caitlyn Clark here, the woman who hasn't just moved the needle, she is the needle. She's bringing in NBA-sized crowds, skyrocketing TV ratings, and completely redefining what's possible for women's basketball. Yet somehow, the WNBA and some of its most established names keep treating her like just another player on the roster. They're quick to cash in on the wave she's created, but when it comes to acknowledging her impact, crickets, silence, maybe even a little side-eye.
Not looking good for Nike yet again, dog. I don't even know how many videos I'm gonna make today about Nike, but it looked like Nike is definitely the star of the day. All started with the Super Bowl commercial, them snubbing Caitlyn, them putting Caitlyn in, them fixing the commercial, them dropping Asia's shoe. Now, come to find out, Asia Wilson has single-handedly killed the WNBA media credibility forever. Yes, oh my goodness, these women was lying. Oh God almighty. They made such a big deal over Caitlyn Clark getting a shoe deal over Asia.
Let's be real. Caitlyn Clark should be the face of every WNBA campaign, every endorsement push, and every highlight reel. But instead of celebrating her success, the league has chosen to simply tolerate her presence. She's been treated like an outsider who stumbled into the party and is now outshining the hosts. And that cold shoulder? It's not just coming from execs or marketing departments, it's coming from the top players too. Enter Asia Wilson. Asia didn't need to be openly hostile. She didn't tweet anything nasty or start a public feud, but she also didn't do a thing when her fan base relentlessly went after Clark the moment Caitlyn landed her Nike deal. Chaos erupted on social media, with people questioning Caitlyn's worth, her resume, and her entire place in the league. Meanwhile, A'ja just sat there, perfectly quiet, perfectly strategic, letting the storm rage on while sipping her tea in the background.